So here I am in this beautifully, really nice, very pristine four-star hotel with a pillowcase thrown over my shoulder like some sort of hobo bindle. And you could just kind of see the displeasure of the staff that work there. Welcome to Achieving Failure, a podcast about the adventures of life. I'm your host, Chris, and join us each week as we bring you a collection of autobiographical stories that made us who we are. From the glitz and the glamour to hitting rock bottom, this is Achieving Failure. You too can almost be somebody. Okay, so during 2005, I was on my first deployment, and I'm a 19-year-old kid. I don't know any better. And one of the spots that we actually went to was Singapore, one of the ports in Singapore, because we're on a merchant marine ship, so we did a lot of loading up supplies and bringing it to other ships at sea. So this is going to be one of my first times really like leaving the U.S. and visiting another country. So what wound up happening was 3 months into the deployment, I wound up like seeing this one girl. She was pretty much the only girl on the boat, so it's the typical, hey, I'm bored, you're bored, let's kind of hang out kind of thing. So when we got to Singapore, me, being the stupid 19-year-old kid that I am, not really having real life experience, we hopped on this boat because our boat was too big. We actually took a ferry into like the Singapore ports, and we got off and we kind of walked to this hotel that was already rearranged. One of our friends already kind of prearranged this whole thing, but it was this really nice 4-star hotel called, I believe it was called the Orchard Towers. I mean, super nice. I mean, it was like the floors were marble, business executives, really, really nice concierge. I mean, like spit shine clean, perfect. It's like one of those, like you see them in the movies. Well, here I come, straight out of shitbag Jersey. I come walking up with my cargo camo pants, and I don't know, I probably had like a Quicksilver hoodie on or something, a Quicksilver t-shirt. Pretty much like I just look like I just crawled out of the gutter. And to make matters worse, I never really had any suitcases because, again, I really wasn't planning on it. My entire life in the military, all they did was give you a sea bag, which is pretty much just this ugly green burlap sack. So what I wound up using, because I had no luggage, was just wound up taking the pillowcase and pulling the pillow out and just kind of shoving all my clothes into this pillowcase and just kind of thrown it over my shoulder. So here I am in this really nice, very pristine 4-star hotel with a pillowcase thrown over my shoulder like some sort of hobo bindle. And you could just kind of see the displeasure of the staff that work there. But it wound up being, nobody really said anything, but it wound up being the girl that I was seeing at the time was so embarrassed and so upset that she goes, we're at this really nice place for like 4 days, and this is how you're walking around, because this is unacceptable. Take your crap, shove it into my suitcase. She had one of those like soft roll around suitcases. I wound up using that, and I mean, when I say this hotel was nice, I mean, where do I even begin? It was the bathrooms. The bathrooms are weird because the bathrooms you had your regular 2 beds, but they had this gigantic circle pane of glass that you could view into the bathroom itself, into the shower and bathroom itself. And the worst part is we're sharing this room with another friend. So they're kind of like figuring out like, okay, how do I separate this? How do I separate so people just don't watch me like take a shower? At the end of the day, with my friend being so embarrassed and me having her use her suitcase, kind of as more of kind of like a punishment kind of thing, she goes, you know what, you're making me embarrassed with this stupid ass thing, you're carrying this suitcase. I said fine. And of course, me just not being the idiot that I am, it's kind of Chris is a piece of shit theme. Instead of, properly picking it up your suitcase with wheels, I wound up just dragging it up and down all the stairs. So where this thing would just boom, 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 boom down all the stairs. And unfortunately, at the end of the day, after our 4-day trip going back to the boat, her suitcase wheel was busted off. I tore a hole in the bottom of it from when it got caught in the escalator. And needless to say, not only was she pissed that I'm walking around with a pillowcase for a suitcase, but now she ruined her suitcase to where she almost had to wear or that's not wear, almost had to use a pillowcase herself because she had no other things to carry her clothes with.
I give you some props on that because first, being in a luxury hotel in that environment's got to be completely disarming, especially at 19. But being like wildly unprepared is not a new thing. Like I was just a year and a half ago. I went back home to Jersey to see my best friend Nick for his birthday, and we all agreed that we're going to do a camping trip. And there was just the three of us, myself, my buddy Nick, and my buddy Eric. And I pack super light. Like I have a backpack and a satchel, and I'm good to go.
Oh, you got a pillowcase too?
No. I had a backpack and a satchel. That's all I needed.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say you had a satchel. You didn't have a pillowcase too.
No. It was just no. I didn't have it. I didn't have my boxcar bindle bag. This was the comedy of errors in camping, and sort of the same way. Like, first of all, we discovered very quickly that Nick can't read a map. In planning all of this, he picked exactly where we're going to go for his birthday. We're going to camp out in the woods just overnight, and we're going to come back. And we wanted to just kind of like get the fuck away from people and like be able to like fish a little bit or jump and swim in the brook, have a fire, do campfire stew, and that was going to be it. So the morning started off, we go over and we pick up just basic groceries and stuff for the way out there, and I'm only one. I picked up shit for dinner that night, and Nick picked up shit for breakfast the next morning. He was carrying the tent that him and I were sharing because he had like a big 3-person tent and it was just going to be the two of us.
Mhm.
And Eric had a separate tent that he was bringing with a bedroll and a bunch of whatever Eric had is sort of irrelevant. What's more relevant here is Nick had a backpack and a cooler. I had a backpack and a satchel, and Eric had ratchet strapped together this pillow, blanket, tent, weird amalgamated roll up. Like it was the worst. Think of the worst possible way to pack something. It's worse than that. Like he had on this like big orange ratchet strap that he had like slung over his shoulder, and at first like he wanted to counterbalance the weight by finding a way to hang this like 10-pound cast iron skillet off the front, so like it would even out on his shoulder. And as we're starting to realize exactly how poorly he fucked up at the campsite, well, as we're getting to the hike into the campsite, we're like, no. First of all, cast iron skillet is staying. That's going in the fucking car. Nobody is carrying a 10-pound skillet through the woods. And at the time, we were all under the impression that it was going to be a mile hike.
Mhm.
It was going to be a mile hike to the campsite, carry what you need. So we had some booze, we had some water, we had, a change of clothes, tents, basic stuff. You don't need a whole lot for this kind of adventure.
Mm-hmm.
The amount of shit we brought was as if we were staying there for a month. And almost all of that in this ratchet strapped bindle bag that at a certain point, like probably like a half mile in, we start having to trade off who's carrying this thing because Eric is really starting to struggle with the terrain and trying to haul this thing around sticks and trees and twigs. Going through this whole process, he jumbles through all this and fucking we get about a mile in, and I go, so Nick, this is just a mile hike to the campsite, right? And Nick looks at the map and goes, yeah, I think we're about a fifth of the way there. I'm like, no. We're already a mile in. So it turns out a mile hike to the campsite was a 5-mile hike all the way out in the middle of July. Now, fortunately, we had some decent weather, but it was still hot as shit hauling all of this because you can bring, 3 days worth of gear for drinking and whatnot on a mile hike. 5 miles is a really long way to haul all that shit and to struggle with this goddamn dead puppy on a leash that we're hauling over our shoulders. That was Eric's gear. But we finally get to the fucking campsite and I make, a cowboy stew and stuff, and it was fucking fun and it was fine. But like, God, like, can't fucking read a map, can't pack a bag. And as he's doing it, like, Eric, are you sure? Like, I've got an extra backpack, or like, I've got like bungee cords. We can wrap it back. He's like, no, the ratchet strap's gonna do everything I need it to do. Yeah, fucking 5 miles later, that's not how any of us felt about it. But that goes to show you the whole thing. Like, I mean, but you do traveling and you take these experiences and you plan for different shit. I mean, I can remember one of the very first times I went on a Boy Scout camping trip, and I was hiking up Bear Mountain to Fingertip Point in New York with my Boy Scout troop at the time. And it's really easy to start off a hike, particularly if it's going to be a really long hike, super enthusiastic and at a pretty quick pace, and like, this is easy. And then 6-7 miles later, even the water that you still have left gets really heavy, and you're like, how the fuck aren't we there yet? And you're just desperate for a lean-to. You're like, oh, no, that tree looks good enough. This is probably our campsite.
I remember I had that one time, actually, the same thing with Boy Scouts, where we were hiking. Like, that was the trip. You're hiking for a couple days, and make sure you bring
like a 2-day hike.
Make sure you bring plenty of food and water. And next thing you know, the kids already drank all the water because they only brought, I don't know, maybe a half a gallon. You bring I think that's pretty much what you could have at the time. You're not going to carry gallons, but you would have like
You're
a half a
supposed to have
gallon.
a gallon per person per day.
But the thing of water would be gone immediately, because then you got to take into account, oh, you got to cook. Oh, shit, I need water to cook my ramen. So next thing you know, you're only a half a day into a 3-day trip. You're already out of food. You're all out of water.
Now you have to figure out how to use the lake.
The one kid in the back already dropped half his shit and it rolled down the mountain some way.
Oh yeah, no, you never come home with all the stuff you brought.
Yeah,
that's like the first rule of hiking. You never come home with all the stuff you brought. Even if you do the no what is it, the no plastics left behind or whatever, the no footprint stuff, and you clean up afterwards, you still lost some shit along the way.
Yeah, you lost a tent, you lost a shoe, you lost a kid.
What happened to the hatchet? I have no fucking idea. I'm pretty sure I saw Johnny like chopping wood, and I think he heard a noise and threw it. I don't even think he bothered going looking for it.
Yeah, I let Johnny use it to cut up his ramen. I haven't seen it in 2 days. I have no idea where it is.
It's probably with the rest of Johnny's finger.
Yeah, I remember we had a lot of fun camping trips.
Well, then we actually had a couple of really interesting ones too. We had one that we were at a jamboree together just outside of Six Flags in Jersey. But then we did one where we were actually both at Novi Bosco, and we traded in. I remember, like, I think we traded in all of like our lake swim time just to get more hours on the shooting range. I think that's pretty much all I did the whole week I was there. I did shooting, I did level work, I did a little bit of metal work, and then I played like flag football. That was like all I did. That and kill spiders in my tent, because I had so many fucking daddy long legs in my tent.
Hey, this is your host, Chris, again. I would like to say thank you so much for tuning into this week's episode of Achieving Failure, and we hope you enjoyed our adventures. And if you have a life story you want to share with us, shoot us an email at aflvpodcast@gmail.com. That's AF, Achieving Failure, LV, Las Vegas, podcast@gmail.com.